Hey everyone, welcome back to another round of Q&A with Matt K. I am Chris Stegall, joined once again by Matt Kaufman. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Chris.
And we are fresh back from Dreamforce, sporting some new Dreamforce duds. Ask Matt about free coffee. This was the debut of our Creme de la CRM shirts and the first Creme de la CRM appearance officially at Dreamforce, so that was super exciting. I will applaud that. And while it was a super interesting and exciting week with a ton of content around AI and Data Cloud and, of course, Winter 25's release, it also meant that Trailblazers' minds were kind of pulled in 1,000 directions. And so it raises a lot of questions in the Trailblazer community that either have gone unanswered because folks were at Dreamforce, or, all those new bits of information pushed out the old bits and people are like, how do I do that again? So we have some content to jump into today in Q&A with Matt K. But before we hop in, I would like to remind everybody to please like and subscribe to these videos. If you are here, there's a good chance that you like this. And if you haven't subscribed, and based on the number of subscribers, I'm guessing you haven't, please do so. It makes us feel really good. It helps these videos reach a broader audience of Trailblazers, which helps generate more questions, which means more helpful videos. And it's a feedback loop of good stuff. So please do hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell to subscribe. And if you have questions of your own, please go ahead and submit them to quick2.click/Q&A. It's a simple Google form, basically just asks you what your question is, and we bump you right to the top of the queue so your questions get answered first. And with that said, we can jump in. Matt is going to be in the hot seat answering questions again today. And here we go. Let me make this a little bit bigger.
Sure.
Nancy asks about dashboard filters stacking up, not replacing each other. She has created a filter in a dashboard, and every time she changes the filter, the older filter option is saved in the underlying reports, and she has to go to reports level to delete the filters. Is there a way to solve this?
Ooh, I don't know if I understand the question. I've been using Salesforce a while now. Originally, I remember when we had reports and no dashboards. And then I remembered we had dashboards and there was a way to add filters. And so yes, I know this is a thing. I know this is a thing. I think I'm just going to have to create some reports and a dashboard and see if I can figure out what she's talking about. Because I know there's dynamic dashboards and there's just dashboards, and someone at home is laughing at me that I don't know what I'm talking about.
I will be honest, I selected the question because I didn't totally understand it, and I thought it either seems like it is something very simple, but then I suspect it would have had an answer before this morning, or it's something complex and I don't quite understand where the complexity is.
Let me just start creating reports and dashboards, right? We'll start with that. It'll be a primer on creating reports and dashboards. And if we can figure out what's going on with Nancy, then we might be able to fix it. And if not,
we have other questions queued up. We can always
sure
record and bail out of this one.
No. I haven't created a report and a dashboard in a while. It can't hurt. Let's do it. Do you want to send me that link and start sharing my screen, and I will.
Yeah, let me share your screen.
Stop hyperventilating. All right, so I'm going to start just by creating a report. Maybe I'll create 2 or something like that. I might have some reports already in here. Let's just create a new report, and I'll open up that link. Thank you for sending it to me. We'll start with just accounts because that's a simple one. And all accounts, we're going to take out the date here. I'll do to all time, apply, and we'll take all accounts. So this should show me all accounts in this org. Now she was saying she had a filter. I'm gonna save it. I'm just gonna save it for now. Let me do a save and run, and we'll call this all accounts filtered. I'm going to take a sip of my free coffee. My throat's a little.
Oh, yeah. Little plug for the coffee. I'll do the same.
It's a good free coffee. Yeah. Don't forget to comment and like and subscribe to get some. Okay, so I hit save on there. We have one report. I'm going to jump to creating a dashboard. And I'm just going to create a quick dashboard. We'll put the one report on there, and we'll start with that. If I need to, I can create more reports. I don't think I need to create more dashboards, though. And so we'll call this Matt's sample, Matt's filter dashboard. How about that? Filtered dashboard. And let's put it in a public folder just to be safe, because sometimes things behave differently when they're in different folders. Select, create. Now, what I think is really great about dashboards in general is that you take something that looks like a spreadsheet like this, and you can make it look graphical and pretty and colorful. And so that's what I want to do. I don't want to just have a table. In order to get this particular report to show up as a chart, though, I need to go back to the reports tab. So let me do that. And hopefully I can open this in a new tab. Yeah. And I need to have some grouping on there because I didn't actually have a grouping. So I'm going to group it by something that's hopefully meaningful. Ideally, it'd be something that's filled in on every record. It's not, though, but we'll group it by billing state.
They all have dates, or are they all the same date?
They have created date, but a lot of them will be the same because this is like a fake order. Yeah. So I'm just going to save that and then come back here and add a widget. Let's close that. All accounts. And what I may need to do. Oh no, it worked. Okay, great. There we go. Okay, so far so good. I'm gonna hit save. And I'll hit done. I'll just okay. So yeah, this is definitely a much easier way of looking at the data because it's got this chart here, and we could actually make this look prettier. Let's see if I can do a couple of things here. I like the dark, but you can choose a bunch of different color palettes here. Like watermelon is kind of neat. Mineral is great because that's accessible, and I'll do that. There we go. That's much better. I'm just curious. If we try something. Oh, look at that. Right, like that's really good looking. I think it's important. We spend a lot of money on our Salesforce licenses and our Salesforce consulting, getting Salesforce to look right. And hopefully, as a result of making it look better, end users will use it more. Executives will actually log in instead of just asking for reports to be exported and stuff like that. And so I think it's worth it to put more time and thought into the experience, the look and feel of your Salesforce, because it does make a difference. And that reminds me of an app that I love to use. See what I did there? Photo Uploader. Photo Uploader for AppExchange has been on the AppExchange since 2009. It's one of the oldest apps on the AppExchange. It's been installed by thousands of orgs. With Photo Uploader, you can easily add an image, whether it's a photo or a product image or anything else, into your Salesforce. Very easy. You can upload to any kind of record. So accounts, contacts, leads, custom objects, whatever you have in your Salesforce, you can put Photo Uploader on there and then add that photo or an image to it to add some personalization to that record. And the best thing about Photo Uploader is that there's a free edition. So it's free to install, free to use, no limits on that. You can install Photo Uploader by going to quick2.click/photo with Matt K, and then add it to your record, and you can see a picture of me, just like here, in your Salesforce. And that makes me smile, so I'm sure it'll make you smile too. So once again, visit quick2.click/photo with Matt K, and you can add some color to your Salesforce. Okay, so filters. How do we add a filter to this? And this is where we may be hitting that. Here we go, filter. That rule of you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Sometimes I feel that way about myself. Let's see if we can add a filter. Okay, I think we had some states that were California. Yeah, did that work? That didn't seem to work. Let me hit done and refresh. You can't refresh the dashboard more than once a minute. Okay, I'll try not to do that. Let me refresh the browser. Okay, so it doesn't seem to have filtered. Maybe I did that filter wrong. Let me try that one more time. Where was it? We got a filter. I didn't hit the plus sign. Okay, so we're gonna choose state. I think it's billing state.
Your billing state.
and we're going to add a value. We're going to say CA. I think there's the Florida also, so we'll hit that. Apply, add, save. Done. Look at this. Okay. That worked.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Testing. Oh, there we go. Okay, it is working. Okay, so this is working. Now, Nancy's statement said, I'll pull it up. Every time I change the filter, the older filter option is saved in the underlying reports. And I have to go to the reports level and delete the filters.
So it could be as simple as she has her report filtered to just show me California. And then in the dashboard, she wants to say, oh, show me Florida. She needs to create a master report that shows everything and do the filter in the dashboard.
Except, I agree. It sounds like something like that. But she's saying every time, which to me sounds like it keeps reverting and reverting and reverting, which should not happen. And I just had an idea. I don't know if you guys saw the little light bulb go off on my head. I don't think we have that technology. But the little light bulb just went off in my head. I actually think I know what's going on here. I just want to. We'll go through the motions. We'll do scientific. I'll double check everything first. I think I know what's going on, and it's going to be it's going to be hilarious. Okay, so I have saved this. I'm going to refresh the screen one more time, and I'm going to make sure that. Okay, so it does say CA and FL. It stayed, right? Let me hit done. I'll refresh. It says CA and FL. Okay, now I'm going to go to my report. I'm actually going to start back on the reports tab. I'm going to click on this report. And there should not be a filter here. I did not create a filter on the report. There is no filter, right? So like Nancy's statement of saying every time, something is not adding up right. So there's a couple possibilities that I suspect. The first is Nancy has multiple reports. One of them is the report being used by this widget here, this in the dashboard. And here's the report up here. And another one is the one that is on the reports tab that she keeps editing separately. That's one possibility. And the simple solution for that I typically recommend is if you do have a lot of reports with the same names, put them in different folders, change the names, add a description, do stuff to make it easier to determine which report is which. And so often what I will do, actually I'm going to jump back to the report builder. What I will do is I will go to all folders and I'll create a new folder and I'll call this the filtered dashboard reports, right? So that I name it the name of the dashboard and then reports. The pros to this are, that dashboard is going to use the right reports and people aren't going to mess with it. The con is you may end up having two reports that are very similar, one that's for the dashboard and one that's not for the dashboard. And so you got to decide whether that's the right way to do it or not based on personal preference / internal policy, stuff like that. Let me go back and I'm going to move this one. I'm going to hit edit. I'm going to move it into that folder. The other thing you could do is add stuff like here. This is used by Matt's filtered dashboard, stuff like that. And then it's less likely to, be changed by somebody. Filter dashboard reports. Here we go. Select, save, and save again. Okay. But yeah, I don't think changing a filter in a dashboard is gonna change a filter in the report. So
yeah,
if she's deleting the reports level in the filter, if she's deleting the filters at the reports level, they should be gone. They should not be coming back. Definitely not on their own, assuming we're talking about the same report. It's possible maybe she's not clicking through, right? So you can click through to the report here. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that's what she's talking about. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so let's do that one more time. I did it quickly. And I've seen this before, and I've been confused by it too. All right, so let's revert this. Let's get it back to the way it was. So I had just created the dashboard. We had no filters at the top. If I click on this link here, we're going to the actual report, and then you can see the URL at the
Will
top.
you do that one more time? I'm going to pull our faces off the screen because I think we were in the way of the link.
Right. My face is just way too big for the screen.
Yeah.
I can move. You know what, though? Hold on. We have the technology. Let me move this over here to there. And now let's see if that works. There we go.
Perfect.
Look at that. All right. You get a CS and this. So, okay. So we have a dashboard component. This link here takes you to the report. Right now it says all accounts filtered, but that's the name of the report. That, you know, so it's not actually filtered. I probably should have used more business terms and fewer of the same words over and over. But I'm going to click this, and what you can see in the URL at the top, and you may not be able to see it depending on where you're watching this. If you're on your phone, you may not be able to see that. I'll paste it in here, and you're probably still not going to be able to see it. But it's the URL of the report itself is what we're seeing in the URL bar at the top. And then /view at the end, right? There is a way to zoom in. I don't know how. Is that it? Well, I'm already zoomed. But anyway, there's no filter applied to this, right? And if I edit this report, this is the actual report. The same as if I go to the reports tab, which I just did, but I'll do it also here. Reports, all accounts filtered. Okay, so and let's do it one more time. There's a query parameter at the end. You don't need to worry about that. So one more time. This is the report itself. This is the report that I get to by clicking on it. And look at the URL. I'm going to toggle back and forth. So even if it's small for you, you probably can see exact same URL, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I can't tell the difference, right? That's important. Now, I'm going to go back to the dashboard, and I'm going to do a filter. It's filtering only California and Florida. Now, here we go. It says the exact same link here, view report. But when I click on it, the URL is way bigger. And you'll notice the data in it is filtered. So what's happening is Salesforce is taking us to the report and adding the filter to the report. As long as I don't save this, the original is still the same. So let me come back here. This is the original report on the reports tab. This is not filtered. However, if I come here and I start working and I'm like, oh, I'm going to edit some records and I'm going to move this report, I'm going to change some stuff. I'm going to, like I'm actively doing stuff, not just to the data, but to the report itself. And then I save it, I'm going to overwrite the report. And so I think that's what's happening here. Nancy is an admin and she makes changes to Salesforce for a living. And so she created this dashboard that allows her to do her job. And her job is changing records and finding problems and all sorts of stuff, right? Let me see if I can get back to the dashboard. And as part of that process, that flow that she's doing, she's editing the report again and saving it probably.
Yeah.
Or she sees this here and says, okay, that's great. I got 2 in 1. I want to go to the whole report though. And this is going to take you to the filtered report. She's like, why is it filtered? I deleted the filters. What's going on here? So maybe she's doing this. Maybe she's clicking on this and saying, no, I want to see all the data. I just use this as a hyperlink to get to it. And I have that same issue. And she comes here and she deletes this. And then she's like, Salesforce. And she saves it, right? No filter. She's going to save it again. And then she's going to come back to the dashboard. And she's going to say, okay, great. Now, when I click on it, I can go back to my report. I just saved it. So there should be no filter. She clicks on it. And she's like, what? What is going on here? What's going on is dashboards are built for end users, executives, not administrators. And so an end user is not supposed to be filtering reports. They're not supposed to edit the report most of the time. Some end users do. But in general, we say, hey, admin, you know what you're doing. You're qualified. You have certs. You have trailhead badges. You set up the perfect reports, the perfect dashboard. Allow me to click on this to see exactly what I need to see without actually having to understand how to edit a report. That's why this functionality exists. It's not for the admins and developers of the world who actually know how to edit the report and can do it. And that's why, when you go to a filtered report, it actually is going to show you the filter already there instead of the whole report like an admin wants it to be and be like, I'm an admin, I can filter this myself, or I don't mind scrolling and seeing more data. I'm an admin, I can handle it, right? I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. This is just kind of misunderstanding of what this link does. This takes you to the filtered version of it and not the original version of it.
Yeah.
Where you're viewing the filter on the dashboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes sense too. You can imagine her confusion if that report is called accounts all states.
Yeah.
And then you filter by California, and then you click on it and it says, here's the report for accounts all states, but it just shows you California. You go, oh no, it's overwritten my report.
Yeah, let's do that. Actually, that's a good point. There's only one other possibility that I could think of, which also is a funny scenario that I've seen before. Sometimes you get a war going on between two admins, and especially if they're not both real admins in their profession, but they have admin permissions in their Salesforce org, right? Then I often will see a war where two people are changing the same record or the same report over and over. And so it could be that too. Let me just see if I can rename here. Is it all accounts and all accounts? Yeah. So it could be that. If that's the case, you can run a report on reports and see who last modified a report and do it that way. Usually, like I said, putting a description there, putting like something that's detailed saying, do not change, that might get people to stop. But yeah, so if the name of the report was all accounts and we filtered it here, as an end user who's not technical, it's great. They click here and they get to see the data that makes that dashboard component at that moment. I see the 2 + 1 looks good. As an admin, though, yes, we often will get frustrated and be like, no, I wanted the actual report because now I want to change the report. I want to tweak it a little. I'm in the process of building this dashboard. I could totally understand that misunderstanding. And so that's probably what's going on. That or the war is one of my two cents, my guess. But it should work fine. Just always set it back to all, then edit the report or click on the link to edit the report. Don't edit it when it's actually in filtered mode. The filters don't exist in the report. They're there just at that moment in time. So the report still is generic, but there's this cool trick. It's actually a URL hack that have existed for reports since the dawn of time, that you can pass in the filter parameters. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and pull this up and find a record that I can type into so you can see what this looks like. Let me go back to my beautiful lead here, and I'll find just a long text field. Here we go. And so this is the URL. I know it's not easy to read. What I'm going to do is kind of break this down into its parts. First of all, this is URL encoded, so it's going to be even harder to read. But you can see here it says report filters, and then there's a bunch of other stuff. And the keywords that we can see here is value and operator equals, and so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and just take this, and we can break this down a little. So value, operator, equals, and then you can see here address state 1. That's in some standard reports, instead of using field names, it uses this other weird stuff. And so that's what we're seeing there basically is, Salesforce is passing in the values in runtime. It looks like we're still missing some stuff in this URL. That's the whole one. No URL parameters. And then the filtered one, a bunch of URL parameters, right?
And then if you delete those URL parameters, everything after view, will it reset to the unfiltered?
Yep, exactly. So if I come back to here, totally unfiltered. And
I feel like that's an easy way for.
Yes. So if you're an admin and you're like, that's not what I wanted, that's an easy fix, right?
Yeah. And that's like a thing that Nancy can check immediately to be like, hey, does this fix the problem? Because then we've solved it.
Yeah. And you could see here, it took me a while to see it. Here's California and Florida, right?
Yep.
CA and FL. And so you could start editing the URL. It's not as pretty, but watch this. If I come back here and I take away the FL, right? I'm just going to take away the FL with the %2C before it and hit enter, we should now be filtering just on California.
Nice.
Right. And if I wanted to be crazy, I could put anything else in here. I could put Delaware. Right. I don't have any, so it's not going to work. But you can run a report using the URL if you want to, if you know the structure of it. I wouldn't recommend doing that. It's much easier just to have Salesforce do it for you. But if you were building out some type of crazy custom screen and you didn't want to use a standard dashboard, you could do something yourself like that.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. So I was nervous on that one. But I got to play with the filters. I normally don't play with the filters. So that was cool. I like it. I probably didn't need 2 with the same state, right? Ideally, I would come up with something better there. But I do like this function to be able to kind of create a dashboard, but then modify the data without having to have 2 versions of the same dashboard. You need it, I'm sure there are business use cases, not just states, but business segments, products, etc. I'll probably do something in our Salesforce with this and maybe break it up based on project type or product or something like that.
Yeah. And given that somebody clicking into that report and then making inline edits to those fields could overwrite the report, it does seem like it's best practice then. If I'm an admin and I have a sales team with territories, and so I have a master report of leads all states, and then each rep has a dashboard that's all of those master reports filtered by their territory, I want to make sure they don't have the inline editing permission, because they might click in to see what their prospects are and then edit a field and then overwrite the report for everybody.
So editing a field shouldn't change the report. So I was just saying that often I do this where I started a dashboard, I go to the report and I work on the data. But as part of the working on the data, I often want to change the report also, because I'm like I'm looking for anomalies. Like for instance, billing state. This is actually a great example. Billing state is empty. Well, I need to fix that. But if I want to edit the records and I don't want to have to open up each one by one, I'm like, you can't edit it because it's a grouping. So what I would actually do, and I do this all the time, probably every week I do this. I come here and I change the report and I say, oh, let's not group by billing state. Let's put billing state down here as a detail column. And I know there was another way I could have done that, but I'll put it down here. And now I can run the report and I can enable fill editing and start filling in the thing here. Apparently I can't I can't edit billing state, but I could put in ratings, let's just say that, right? And so I changed the report to help me edit data. Editing the data itself doesn't break anything. It's the changing of the report. And if I save this report now, I'm going to break the dashboard. I'll go ahead and do it just so you can see. So I'm going to save the data, and then I'm going to save the report. And now if I go back to my dashboard, it should not work. It should say, hey, this, yeah, look at that. Right?
Yeah.
And maybe I didn't do as destructive of a change. I could have done something, I could have just sort of grouped by a different field. Maybe I group now by rating. Let's do that. And I'll hit save, and I'll go back to the dashboard and refresh. And now it'll work, but now yeah, see, it's like totally wrong. One or more fields. And I think, because the filter is on billing state, right? And I took billing, yeah. So it's like, I totally broke it. So that's the issue. It's not the changing of the data, it's the changing of the structure of the report itself. That's the problem.
Okay.
But yeah, admins tend to work off of reports a lot because that's, it's more of an admin type of thing. Whereas end users, yes, you can work off a report, you can work off of a list view, but often they're working on a specific thing in the real world and not cleaning up data. Cleaning up data we typically are going to do with, reports, list views, data loader, that type of stuff. And so I think it's probably a lot more common than we realize that admins start at a dashboard, go to the report, make a change, and then whoops, I broke that dashboard. Dashboards really are designed for executives and managers to get more out of Salesforce, and less so as a admin tool, right? And so that's the thing. Like, just create a second dashboard that your managers and executives won't see, that you use for data cleanup, and then keep your executive and management dashboards and the reports that power them separate from those. So you put them in a folder, you put a little description, etc., and that way you're less likely to run into an issue like that.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think we did it. I think
Yeah.
you did it.
I mean, yes. I think it's a joint venture. Yeah. I also would like to thank all the people who have helped me on my Salesforce journey. So it's a group effort.
Yeah. And with that, I will do one more push to say if you have your own questions that you would like answered next time, please submit them to quick2.click/Q&A. Like I said, we source questions from the Trailblazer community, from Reddit, from anywhere we can find them online, but those that submit the form get bumped right to the top of the list because we know you are watching and part of the audience. And with that said, please do like and subscribe so that we know you are watching and part of the audience, and it helps these videos reach a broader group of Trailblazers.
And feel free to add comments too. If you see that I could have done something differently or better, or you're curious why I did it a certain way, feel free to add comments on the video as well.
Yeah, I feel like
Happy
that's
to
always
come back to a video and explore something if somebody submits an idea, or just answer a comment.
Yeah, we have definitely had videos where we come back 30 minutes later to amend what we have done. We have been taught new ways of doing things. I think that's one of the cool things about Salesforce and technology in general, is there's usually 10 different ways to do things and maybe a best way, but sometimes it's really situation dependent. So please do let us know what you think. And if you are Nancy, let us know if this solved your problem, because I will post this video in the Trailblazer community. And Nancy, I hope you're watching, and I hope this did. But if it didn't, let us know what we missed or give us some more details. We'll happily jump back in and readdress the question as well. All right, this has been another round of Q&A with Matt K. Again, I am Chris Stegall, and that is Matt Kaufman. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.